Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Everyday Black Men Podcast, a podcast for authentic black male thoughts. I am Riker, and I'm joined by Harvey Dent and Armstead. Follow us on Twitter at EVYD Black Men, Instagram at Everyday Black Men, and Facebook at the Everyday Black Men Facebook page. Now let's start the show.
Honestly, even when Nipsey died, I bought the albums I didn't have. I had most of it already, but I've been listening to Nipsey since 2011.
Has he been dead long enough that I can say that he got super overrated after he died?
I mean, he's been dead long enough for you to make any sort of complaint.
I'm not gonna say he was overrated because I mean I was a fan since 2011. I just like everything else. Oh, he dead, man. We got to go ahead and show love, appreciate everybody, jump on the bandwagon. Like it was kind of like that. It was the trendy thing to do for folks. Like I personally watched him move, from the get go, from even his relationships, and I even respected how him and Lauren London moved on social media. Like they didn't they weren't on that gimmicky shit, and it was kind of commendable. I mean, if it was if you want to compare it to how 2020 relationships go, so. But his music was actually legitimate because he grew from where he started. Like if you would have heard him from the get go, from the beginning to where he ended up, he actually polished his sword.
Can I ask you a question? Like if you like top tier, like what tier do you place him in?
But you're talking about personal preference. You're gonna talk about
even on your personal preference. I'm like is he up there with the Eminems and Jay-Z's and Coles of the world?
I'm not gonna say he's my favorite from his wordplay and his lyrics. I did fuck with. No, he wasn't the most lyrical, but that's just like Jeezy. Niggas fuck with the first 3 albums, and Jeezy ain't the most lyrical, but he was spitting shit that resonated with me. And he pieced together good songs and had good features where the features weren't like clout features. They made sense. So he is.
Stop calling out to you.
Huh? Hey,
you leave ASAP Rocky alone,
man. Look, we gonna call ASAP Rocky Helga Bataki of rap. All right, that's who she is to me. Looking for some Nina Spumoni fucking boots because he's something else. But when it comes to Nipsey though, he's like top 15 to me. Nipsey out of my personal list, he's probably number 15.
He probably
that's still pretty good.
Yeah, he top 30-ish for me. For West Coast rappers, like there's Tupac and then there's him because E40 and what's the other guy? Too Short had their versus battle, and I did not watch it.
I didn't care to watch it either. I
never liked either one of them. Like I like Too Short for Bitch and like E40. I'm trying to think of a song I like by E40, but
Tell Me When to Go or
I ain't even like that song. I ain't even like that goddamn song. I like Too Short the person. I don't. His music.
Do you know Big Time?
I mean E40 the person.
Holy water, that song it was from the '90s, but it was catchy as shit. Sprinkle Me, it was something weird. I remember that growing up. That was E40.
Sprinkle me, baby. Sprinkle
me. He did the Don't Save Her. Yeah, he was I Wanna Be Saved. He came up with Don't Save Her.
Not Tupac.
E40.
What's his name? Bro, like I say, I just never been like that voice.
So before Project Pat,
I'm not an E40 fan like that, but I remember through the reminiscences of their career what I heard and what stuck. And E40 in the before Project Pat, it was probably 90 or 1990 if anything. He's like, is a kill I saver. I want to be he was calling bitch. He's like, don't say these hoes. He was the first one to come out with that shit or made it catchy.
I think that he was more popular on the West Coast than he ever been on the East Coast.
Every West Coast rapper is though.
Okay.
Every West Coast rapper, because I lived in California before the military, and I didn't realize how much they keep their people in circulation. Like when I was out there living in Huntington Beach and Ranch Cucamonga, before streaming and everything. Them niggas only played their music. Their radio personalities were known.
Do they play ours? The South?
They rarely threw. They rarely did. They only played it has to be a banger.
Like Jesus.
Probably maybe even they fuck with the South, but in all reality, I'm talking early 2000s.
Correct.
I didn't hear too much from maybe DMX, Jay-Z made it over there. Eminem made it over obviously because Eminem had West Coast ties. But those voices you heard, but on the radio, there are West Coast songs that I know I like that nobody else knows unless they're from the West Coast.
Yeah, I always wonder because music, that's like Texas. I know another place because everybody say Texas has these artists you never know and they so big. And if they make it out of there, it's a couple of them. But overall,
I got a hot take about a Texas rapper, but I don't want to get shot because the niggas are legit.
I always wanted to do Texas fuck with Megan.
They do. They fuck with their own period, man. There's nobody
Okay.
that's not from there. Like they fucked with Riff Raff.
Yep, you're right. Riff Raff
Really?
did have a Texas population.
If every coast of music supported their artists like Texas did theirs, then we would be like the most harmonized genre in the world.
I think it is like that to some extent because the South.
Not written, nigga. Kanye even said it in a song. I'm from Chi-Town, the city of hella haters.
Well, I'm talking about.
I mean, true.
You know how them go. I mean, they trying to kill each other.
New
So
York,
not them.
New York. No, that's before them niggas. Like I ain't gonna talk about the Roach population. I'm talking
Bro,
about when
niggas
Chicago was premiere.
Probably in New York, they only love you when you're dead. Because, like, God, Jesus, Pop Smoke. I heard Pop Smoke before he died, but he wasn't on like that. And they were acting like he was the next guy, and I felt like they fucked with him when he died.
Foreigner.
Yeah, even though New York put up Tekashi, they think we gonna forget about that.
I mean, look, New York didn't put up
Damn,
Tekashi.
you just named the episode.
Tekashi took everything from
They allowed it.
New
They
York.
allowed it.
I mean,
They allowed
New
it.
York was never going to get on this man. And I'm not saying that you can't put New York on a cross, but I'm saying I don't think this one fits because we've had plenty of soup. We never blamed Texas for Riff Raff, even though the only reason that people left Riff Raff alone was because he was a cool white boy who knew not to say the N word and to pipe down when people told him to.
No key. Atlanta got a big L that they y'all. I ain't gonna say they. That has been glossed over. What was his name? That got shot over Candy. Was it Gucci's boy? Not Scooter. It was what the name? What was the name of dude from Atlanta that was an Atlanta rapper? He was a mixtape rapper, well known, but he got shot, and we ended up finding out the backstory was he got shot over fucking Candy.
You're going to have to tell me who that is because I know you ain't talking about my man. Jew Man Entertainment.
No, not Juice Man. Not Juice Man. Not OJ.
You mean
Fucking,
Slim Duncan?
Yeah. It was over some candy, dude.
Oh my God, you're right. He got in a fight over candy that was being sold in a recording studio. They killed a man over candy.
Like Atlanta, y'all got a big L for that one, dog. Like what?
Slim Duncan wasn't really on like that, but we'll take
he
it.
was with
he was at review of the play.
He was fucking with Brick Squad at Brick Squad's height when he got shot.
I mean, that's the only part of that really makes it relevant. Is that this was during Brick Squad's height.
Like they had Future on Brick Squad still. Yeah, like
correct.
I remember that
before the fall of our esteemed wannabe president Waka the Flocka.
What I was gonna say, what y'all want to like basically talk about, like, because technically, this is the end of the decade, and the new decade starts 2021. So y'all ever like want to discuss what best of the decade or your all-time favorite so far of certain things like music, movies?
That requires thought. Wow.
Oh. Well, it's not just that requires thought. You should know kind of like.
Off the top of your head.
I think one of the biggest things is we've got to see Obama go from being the hero to be the villain.
Nah, white people still love that nigga.
No. We don't care about white people.
Okay.
White people love all kinds of fucked up shit. White people love the fact that now they can say darky, and we're so ingrained now in having to fight back actual people saying nigger that we're like, all right, well, I mean, you're wrong for saying darky, but we don't even have energy for that.
He pulled a Harvey Dent on us.
Correct. He did pull a full ass Harvey Dent. And it seems like nobody wants to notice. I mean, for a while, I was fighting against you, R. Reed, last year, but he's just in a year's time frame. Because you were one of the first people to say this, that Obama is one of those corporatists. It's just like in a year, he has gone from being a person that I defend to being a person where I'm like, yeah, this nigga is full of shit.
I think why, and I actually condone it, that we haven't and nobody's brought too much attention to it and talked about it is because they do it. Everybody within the opposition's Mount Rushmores have done way worse, and they don't. One of the biggest things, and y'all have talked about it. Every black platform, for the most part, has talked about it. Blacks will tear down blacks real quick, and you don't see that in none of the other cultures, even all the way down to they fucking pedophiles. They letting Charlie Sheen, dirty dick, giving HIV to bitches
dirty
and knowing
dick,
it.
Motherfucker.
Like we got Woody. What's his name? What's the fucking director?
Not
They
Woody
married his
Harrelson.
daughter. Not Woody.
Oh,
Woody
he's talking
Harrelson
about
is one
Woody
of us.
Allen. Woody
Woody
Allen.
Allen. Yeah, Woody Harrelson is low key black. All right, I fuck with him, man.
Yeah, Woody
He's an
Harrelson,
ally.
we're gonna adopt. We'll
Yeah,
give
that's
y'all
who Clinton was
Candace
supposed to
Owens
be.
and Oprah, and we'll throw in Obama as
Yeah.
a sweetener. But you have to give us at least one more. We're
Woody
taking Lil Dicky.
Woody Harrelson is the reason Clinton was elected. Like,
Okay, so let me tell you
yeah,
my whole like shtick with Obama. Like, and this is the thing. Like, people keep loving him, but he's not. They treat him like he's above reproach, and that's the problem because he's still a politician, and all
you know why?
politicians should be. What's up? Go ahead.
It's easy. It ain't alone. It's charisma, man. Remember we talked about that before. He's getting
Man,
out on
I tell
charisma.
you, because like that one guy from Texas, man. Before I looked at his background, I loved him, man. What was his name, man? He was like a white Obama. Benny, what was his nigga name?
Beto O'Rourke.
Beto O'Rourke,
Beto,
O'Rourke.
yeah,
man. I
yeah.
love Beto with that charisma. But when you
I
start
fuck
getting
with
him
Beto.
to the
Yeah,
person, no, you don't.
I'm talking about back
No,
then.
you
I
don't.
said fuck.
Oh, back
I said it
then.
was a
Oh
D
yeah,
E
Back
D
back
E
then we
D.
didn't know him. Now he's
Yeah,
hot, and it's the
yeah,
exact opposite of being hot.
yeah.
We're not on
Charisma,
him.
man. That should get you everywhere in life. Because I was like, whoa, Beto.
it
I
will.
like this guy. And I started looking at he's like a crazy. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? He the type.
I mean, it's
If
not
he
just that he's crazy. It's that it's like you can't possibly believe this and be a sane person.
like the stuff
Well,
he believes in is that shit they act like AOC believe in. I'm just like, bro, y'all keep going after AOC, but I truly
Oh
like,
no, AOC is next on my list. I was gonna hit her next,
yeah,
but go
she's
ahead.
not the person that we believe her to be, and it's just been proven. Like Jimmy Dore and all these people are going after her. I don't know if you guys like Jimmy Dore. They
But no,
tried to
Jimmy
attack
Dore is
Jimmy
not
Dore,
actually going after her. He's just saying, be the person you were in 2016.
but she's
Because
not really that
now
person.
I know she's
this is
not, but she's acting like she is.
this is supposed to
Go
be a
ahead.
fun, a good, we non-politic dominated episode.
Nah. We in this. We in this
They gonna
bitch.
get these
Go ahead,
bars, huh?
Armstead. Go ahead, Armstead.
No, I was asking who that person was because I don't know who that is.
Which one?
The name y'all just said, whatever it was.
Jimmy.
Jimmy, yeah.
He's a comedian that got into politics. And he's a super leftist.
Oh yeah, he's
Uh,
ultra leftist, like Seattle
but he
Communist
has
Party,
that
Green Party.
brash bravado to him that probably
He's
won't
still a
rub you both
comedian.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's like I'm
he
trying to think of
wish
what
he was
that
Carlson.
old. Yeah. I
George
know he
Carlin.
wishes it.
George Carlin
George
is his
Carlin.
name.
Yeah. He's like George
Yeah,
Carlin in the fact that he
Carlin,
will
Carlin,
literally.
Carlin.
Carlin,
Yeah, Carlin.
Carlin
Carlin.
was dope.
He will literally go in on you and everything that you believe, and he doesn't give a shit. But he's coming at it like a bleeding heart liberal, and by bleeding heart, we really mean like, nah. The reason we should give everybody money is because people run our society and corporations are shit, and we should abolish most of their rights. Like he's that kind of person. But yeah, Jimmy Dore is a bleeding heart liberal, Armstead. And AOC, I mean, this week Jimmy Dore and several other leftists were just like, hey, AOC, be the person that you said you were and ask for just a vote on Medicare for all. And AOC deflected by saying, well, what happens when the vote goes and nobody votes for it? It's like, that's not what we asked for.
What's the man? Who cares?
We asked for
Yeah,
you just to call for a vote. Like,
because most
that's
politics
all we're
is
doing.
theater, and they understand that. And she needs to understand how power works. Power yields nothing without demands, and that's just the truth of it. Like they keep saying that,
Right.
and that's the truth
You
of it.
know, I got a question. Do you think this about AOC? Do you think that she is a victim of her time period of where she lives in, where she feels like the only thing she can do that gets some type of results is fucking talking on social media instead of actually acting?
She represents the part of the Democratic Party what I don't like. Even though she act like she isn't, it's all about you being there, you being quote unquote racially diverse
Hmm.
on the outside, but when it comes to policy, let's see what you really do. And she's in
Correct.
Congress, so we'll see. I want to see if she runs for what's that guy's name, Senate seat in New York.
Yeah, you mean Schumer?
Yeah, Chuck Schumer's. I want to see if she goes to Chuck Schumer's seat because the Senate is. I want to see if you talk that shit in the Senate. Nobody talks that shit in the
Well,
Senate but
she's
Bernie.
not gonna be able to talk that shit in the Senate because
No,
there's just no way for her to get there and get because you like it's easy. I don't want to say it's easy. She's young, vibrant Latina woman in a young, vibrantish community. It's easy to get that for the House. For the Senate, you got to get the old people, you got to get the young
Hmm.
people, you got to get the people in the middle, and you got to get the people in Manhattan who very much view her as a we we let you live. We let you come around and do your thing. But, now that you want to actually come to the table, like you're gonna need to, break somebody off something. And I don't think she's ready to play that game yet.
I think movies like Evan Almighty joked about
Mhm.
it, but they showed in on it. And even the last season of F is for Family, the last 2 seasons, where the black dude was running for alderman or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
Uh,
funny.
it's
yeah,
funny,
that
but
they
it's
showed.
politics.
Yeah, but it's the whole about the game. Like you see how playing the game works. Basically, whoever's in charge, if you ain't going off of what they want, they gonna make it hard for you. And even what's funny on the Breakfast Club interview with Obama recently, like last month, he even said there were people that he was cool with on the Republican side that said, "Man, I fuck with you, but if I vote with you, man, these niggas gonna come for me." Like it's the ultimate high school, I think. When you think about how
Not alternate, it's the continuation. It's the
it
next
is,
phase, the next
it is.
level. The highest level is politics. Politics is high school, but now everything matters.
Yeah, and that is shit. It's basically voting for prom king and prom queen for the most part
Correct.
because these motherfuckers are clearly for it, but it don't affect me, and I kind of like this cushy ass job with this good ass pension.
Well, that's the
They
thing about
don't,
it too.
bro. They'll
People
come
love
for
that.
you, and they don't, and they get overpaid. Like it's one of the graviest jobs where all you gotta do is protect rich people.
Not one of
And
these. That's the
It
most
is though.
gravy job.
You only got to serve what like a couple of days to get your full pension,
Correct.
I think,
You just got to be in there for 5 days to get your
and
full
then these
pension.
same motherfuckers will attack everybody else's pensions.
and their salary. I think their salary
It's
base
six
for the
figures. I
first
know that much.
year is about 150. You can look it up
Yes,
online. It's online.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
150
public.
because Ted Cruz was complaining about getting 174, and it's like, bro, you don't
Yeah,
deserve 74.
yeah. Their pay scale is online and it's ridiculous. I mean, I felt some kind of way even when they hold the government shutdowns. Like, wait a minute, well, how are y'all still getting the salary though? Like, what the
Well,
fuck?
that's the thing about it is they're never going to vote that they have to have non-government shutdowns. Because I think if anything, before the government shuts down, we should be a month. Like everything needs to be extended by at least a month. So if we need to write a bill, then a month before, everyone who could vote for this bill. So unless you are in a coma somewhere or on your deathbed and trying to come back, your pay needs to get shut off a month before the things are due. That's not
What?
going to necessarily change too much. But once people start saying, huh, I'm not getting a paycheck. Also, yeah, cut off their health care too. Um, Once people start saying that there's consequences for their actions, suddenly we don't miss bills anymore because missing a bill means I'm missing my funds and my
Mm,
nice, sweet government health care.
well, also, what is it? I found out there is no limit for how many seats can be in the House or in Congress's total. There's no
Oh,
limit
yeah,
to it. If
there's
they
no
need to
limit at all.
justify creating another seat, they will. Because I think when it first started, there was only probably a couple of hundred seats, and now we're over. I think we're somewhere around 500. And for a bill to pass, it's these circumstances, it needs over half. Meaning you still got to gather at least 200 to 300 people.
You
Now,
see
I
what
may be quoting this wrong, but like 100 years ago when they were passing
lock
prohibition,
onto them.
prohibition um, passed like 47 to like 8. Now, I may
Yeah,
be off by that, but
but it
that's
was only a few
literally
hundred.
saying that
It was
Congress
only a
was
few
like,
hundred.
yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
was only a few hundred people because in the Senate it was like 100 something to like one something, and then the actual or sorry House of Representatives was like 100 something to like one something, and then the actual Senate it was only like 60 of them or
So
58 or something like that.
I
So
feel like
we can invent more seats if we
I,
wanted to.
I feel like the game of politics did what everything in America does. Yo, this is an easy come up, and they exaggerated it. They took advantage. They milked it to what everything's worth. Like flipping houses now, motherfucker. Everybody think they can flip a house because what some people are popping off. What people
That
are
is
popping
such a
off is
good one.
like it's kind of like that. Like I've had people come, man, you should get into real estate. How about you should get to shut the fuck up? Like I don't. I
I
No,
don't
think you
no,
should
agree
get
with any
into.
of that.
that's
I
the
think you
truth
should
of it
get
though.
into a more simplistic real estate, buying
Yeah,
property, not flipping it. That's the
yeah,
more
but that's
simplistic.
what
But
people
that
think it
buying and
is, though.
flipping
It's a,
shit,
yeah.
nah, because
That's but
that
that's the mindset.
mm-mm.
That's
Well, it's the
once it.
mindset because we have TV shows about it. We have
The
people that
buying and
talk about
flipping
it.
is like a group of you and your friends. That's to be honest with you,
And
who
Yeah,
got
even
but
money.
then, it can't be just you and a group of your friends, because you and a group of your friends got to buy property in the right area. Like HGTV has ruined people by making them think that they can all be real estate moguls, and they don't see that most of these people who are on these shows are barely actually making any real profit, and the TV show becomes
Whoa,
the
whoa,
vehicle for them
whoa,
to make
whoa,
money.
whoa. They make money, bro. Don't get it twisted. Because you got to see what they don't show you is the Mexicans going in there to work.
Well, I
No,
know
because
who's doing
now
the
ICE
actual
got to
vote.
come in.
Yeah,
Exactly,
you buy
exactly.
because they be buying them house at 30, 40,000 and sell them at 120, bro. You making money. But you putting in about another 20 for the most part, 20 to 30, depending on who you fucking with. Mexican contractors, I mean, I'm sorry,
No,
illegal.
I'm not saying that they're not making any money,
Oh,
but I'm saying the bulk of the money that they're getting that's free balling this stuff is due to them filming the show and getting that upfront capital.
yeah, because I know people doing that shit. They make money. It's slow money too, by the way, because if you're doing 1 or 2 houses at a time, we talking about an extra 50, 60,000 a year. But imagine that's a year, though. That's not really a lot.
But
I mean,
also, if you don't flip that house within a year, you got to pay taxes on that, and that's like
Right.
10%, depending on where you stay. Like, so unless
man,
your ass got several thousand,
bro, the real game is called paper flipping, if y'all know what that is. So let me tell
uh,
y'all, I'm gonna do a small example. Like, this is what I know about it. It's called paper flipping. This is what you do. Somebody about to get kicked out of their house. You be like, oh man, I'm about to get kicked out of the house. You go to them, right? Anybody can do this. I'm gonna tell y'all. You go to them, tell them they're gonna sell you the house at this price. And they go, yeah, okay. All right, perfect. So in this time period, I think you got like 7 to 14 days. Don't quote me on that. And you go to somebody else and be like, hey man, I own this house. Can I sell it to you for this amount? So let's say the house is worth let's say they
100.
underwater 100,000 and they underwater, whatever. You sell the amount, the difference. So you sell that house for 140. Some contractor buy it and y'all put the work in, blah, blah, blah. And you never pay this person a damn thing. Everything's on paper. You flip that paper to the next guy and you sell them the house. That's paper flipping. That's the real flip you want to get into. You got to find people about to lose their house. You make them an offer. That offer is set in stone, period. Then you sell that offer that you just offered them, you sell at least 2 to 3 times the value or 1.5 times the value to somebody who's into flipping houses or whatever, and you're going to make money back every time. And you ain't got to spend a damn dime because all you see is that $20,000, $30,000 of profit. It's called
Exactly.
paper flipping. And I
No,
know this
paper
guy who
flipping
sold
is
about 30 houses that way.
well, no,
And that's what
paper
he do
flipping
for a
makes a
living.
lot of money. That's actually very reminiscent to the same thing I was talking about in the prohibition, because this is just prohibition explained. Which, if you need to, if you don't know who that guy is, the guy who does explain videos, you've been missing out. But basically, one of the bootleggers in the 1920s did that literal thing. Basically, all the alcohol that was made, because we make alcohol in the millions of barrels and stuff.
mhm.
All of it couldn't be sold because of prohibition. He basically got the government to sell it to him. Then he would take that thing, rob himself, and then turn around and flip his stolen goods to these other people. Because again, once it's stolen, he gets the money for the property that was stolen. The people who were transporting it, because he owned the transportation companies, they weren't going to say any goddamn thing because they were getting paid well. So he basically turned it into insurance fraud.
Yeah,
On
so
top of
people,
that, he goes to jail.
that's a good game.
His wife sells everything to join one of the guys who was part of the prohibition thing, and he gets out of jail, finds his wife, kills her, pleads insanity, and everyone feels so bad for him because she ripped him off that we don't even convict this nigga of murder.
Wow.
Look, man,
The greatest come up of white
we
people's time in the
we ain't white.
1920s. I mean, no.
The insanity
This is
plea has
not
been
Riker
like the
telling
greatest
you that you
defense.
should murder your spouse if they decide to steal your money while you're in jail for a bid. Because he only did 2 years, even though he had 3,000 examples of him selling
You know what?
illegal goods.
This reminds me of a story that's off topic, but it's in the same nature
Go
of it.
ahead, man.
Um, young kid, I say young, like early 20s. He's in the Air Force. He marries another girl that's been in the Air Force that's been in a little bit longer than him. She was in with me. She's had the same amount of time as me. At the time, it was like 7 years. She marries him. They get a joint account. He gets deployed. When a military member gets deployed, they get tax-free money. Your salary is tax-free, and
Correct.
everything coming in for his 6-month deployment. And he comes back home. She filed for divorce and she transferred all the money out of the account, and he can't do shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good come up on her part. She a terrible
Like,
person, and we hope that she goes to hell for what she did to
oh,
him. But at the
she's
same
done
time,
worse. But the funny thing is, people think, and this is for the folks that think they want to join. The Air Force did nothing for them. Leadership couldn't do nothing for them. They couldn't hold her accountable because technically it was their joint account. She wasn't looked in the best light, but
that don't
took
matter.
all the
She
shit.
still get to keep the money.
Now And reason I say this story is because had he went off the rails, snapped and killed her, he wouldn't have got no clemency on that. It would have been no premeditated shit. He would have went to the full felt the full gavel of justice from. It would have been on the Air Force side, I think, but it still would have been the same kind of punishment he would have got on the outside.
Well, yeah, but at least then he couldn't. Well, not saying at least he shouldn't murder his wife, regardless of what she did to him.
Well,
But
yeah,
if his cousins wanted to do
that
it, because of a
that
prior.
insanity. I was just saying that insanity shit only works on the outside. It's just
Oh
funny,
yeah,
but
yeah, 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 yeah.
no matter how bad they screw you, and even if there's a paper trail to show that they did it, it's like
Maliciously.
yeah. I just thought about that when you said that because it's like it's crazy that some people can pull that card. I think that's why I was sitting with me. It depends on the circumstances and, like they said, right time, right place.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You could be
For
the
him, he was in the right time and the right place for her to screw him. But that's
but
always why you tell people that they need to put a certain amount of their income aside, regardless of you being married or whatever. I think everyone should have a certain amount. You figure it out with your spouse, but you need to have a certain amount of your money that goes into a bank account that only you have. Use it for presents, use it for whatever, but it's overall just a just in case fund.
I think
Because if you
anybody,
throw everything in a joint account, you're right. Someone can change
yeah,
because they've decided that you know what they want to run off with a 18 or 19-year-old babysitter, or the 23-year-old receptionist, or the 57-year-old manager that they decide now that they love. And there's literally it's hard if someone transferred all the money out while they were married to you. It's hard for you to get honest recourse because the way it's looked at with marriage is the two of you are united as one. So if one of you
mhm.
does something, you both agree to it. And there's literally it's hard to get out of it unless someone gets murdered. As long as
And
everyone's alive, it's hard to change that decision.
those are the dangers of having a law involved in your marriage. Like that when we the from when this comes up 2 podcasts ago, we was talking about marriage and how basically it ain't even mentioned in certain parts of scripture or whatever. Like
Well, now
the
it'll be like
law.
5 podcasts ago by the time this come out.
Oh shit. Well, yeah, it
Shit,
was.
damn.
You cutting them like that. But yeah, like the law getting involved makes your
Cutting them
life
with
so
fin
much more
enough.
complicated. Like
True. You're right, man. You're 100% right. Like you are taking a gamble. I mean, if you're doing it the religious way, then you would think that this person is great. But at the same time, I mean, we've known plenty of Christians that'll do things left, right, and the hard way just because they want to. So you got to really just kind of like watch it. But I think overall, where we were going to is that like we've seen all these politicians change over time, and it's really becoming a thing where it's just like we're watching people become worse versions of themselves and no one is saying anything. Like nobody's complaining. Like the
right.
money's flowing and the hoes are hoeing and it just is what it is.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's just it's wild, man. Like it's just funny that I don't know how to word it exactly, but you would wish that things, especially when it comes to the law, is more black and white than it actually is per state or per providence and how
Correct.
that judge operates or thinks. Because that
Yeah.
I think is the most fucking ridiculous thing about this country. Granted, it is dope that every state has its own state laws that the federal law cannot overturn. But when it comes to major offenses like that, like, come on, man, like you,
Oh, you
you
mean
can't
like
tell me.
how Oklahoma decided not to legalize alcohol until 1959? Sorry, just throwing random facts in here.
Or how in Florida, theft of over 250 or $300 is a felony.
Oh
Like,
man, Florida's where you need to be selling them PS5s. Just letting y'all know that now.
man, like that's just crazy, man. Like I feel like shit needs to
Oh, I
be
think
some
it
stuff
should be
needs to be
though.
standardized.
I
Some
think
stuff needs to
I
be
think you can
standardized.
steal up to $100 and it not really affect someone. But when you steal in two, three, five, 10, 1,000, like once
Hell,
you
five
steal in
hundred
like
dollars should be the limit. Shit.
no, not even 500. I think
Yeah,
two
but you're
hundred or
talking about
300 is
somebody
a
going to
felony.
jail for like 10 plus years for five hundred
No,
dollars.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you go into no, people should. Like it's I think the only difference here should be if someone steals food or household goods. Not alcohol, but like like this nigga stole like some wrenches and some locks and just some regular stuff. Like that's one thing. Or if somebody steals food, I don't care what food. They stole all the prime rib steaks. They were hungry, nigga. They was hungry. It's very different.
They actually just reported that theft for like small things has gone up for like food, small food items. It's been going
Oh
crazy in
yeah,
the country.
people are starving. Like
Yeah,
that's the
maybe if
thing
y'all would have gave
that's
niggas
coming.
$1,200 and they survive,
No. Maybe if y'all would have gave that $2,000 a month, like fucking Canada did,
Shit,
we wouldn't
Canada
be in this
shit.
fucking.
You mean every other Western country that
I
back people payrolls and bullshit?
can I ask y'all this because this is something I do. It's random, but I do it whenever I can because it's like I don't know how often you guys run around with cash in your pockets. I rarely do, and usually when I do is like under $20, if not $20.
It's like under
Uh,
30.
like
Maybe an
and I
undo.
come somewhere where I see a homeless person. I do kind of in a sense scan the homeless person, but it hits to where like I think about perfect example 2K. Man, I just bought 200,000 VC for $20. That something ain't worth shit. This nigga right here out
Exactly.
here ain't doing shit. Like I know how much I am, how I act with like $20 and less on bullshit, and I'll do it. I'll just give it up.
Shit, me, I
Even
want to get that nigga shit.
even, but
Fuck it.
For me, my internal voice has to be screaming that little Jesus voice or whatever. But for most people, it doesn't because I can see the up to snuff. Like to personalize it, like I saw in Walmart, like maybe 4 weeks ago, this old lady who was out there begging, but she had like frozen pizza and like all this other stuff. It's like this don't add up.
you
Like,
being
why would
greedy,
you have
yeah.
had enough money to get frozen pizza? Or even if someone said they wanted to buy something for you, you wouldn't have asked for frozen pizza. You would have asked for something that's actual food that you could have used. And even then, you would have
Right.
put it in your car. So if you have frozen pizza or a bag in your arm, there's something else that's going on there. And that's
You
just one
have,
of the things where it's like this is obvious scam. Because I mean, I used to fall for it back when I was really young. Like, people come in there with they have their kids and they all crying together and doing all this other stuff. They just like, I just need $20. Then you ask them for food and they be like, no, we need da 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 da. And then one time, like I gave a girl $20 and then like her whole face changed. And I was like, fuck, I just got scammed. Like when you see someone's entire body language change after you give them the money, it's like, all right,
you,
so this
you
is
know,
this is why people actually talk shit about Americans when we're begging because like if you see actual poverty, like people are just happy for anything. Like, oh my God, thank you
yeah.
for 10 cents. Thank you for this, thank you for that. But like when someone's like, oh, you gave me the green cash, yeah, fuck out my face, nigga.
You
No,
know, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Go, no, you got already talked.
My whole spiel is my family might need that $15-$20. I don't feed them before I feed some stranger on the street. So I'll
Well,
just save it for them. Fuck them strangers.
I, I,
I don't think
I
you need to go that far though. And sorry to cut you off, All Might, because
no, you
remember,
good.
in high school, from 10th to 11th grade, our teachers, a group of them, like five of them, they did an experiment where they begged for the entire 3 month vacation period. They made like $200,000 begging
Chief.
in
You said
Atlanta.
how much?
They made about $200,000.
Almost how many?
It was like 5 or 10 of them.
Oh,
But they
yeah,
basically,
yeah.
well, I mean, one of the teachers, I think
That's
she was
still a
doing some
lot.
other things.
That's a few bands per fucking teacher though. I mean,
Exactly.
shit.
Well, no, because in Atlanta there used to be a legend, and I know I've talked about him before, but in Atlanta there used to be a guy named Sock Man, and Sock
Mhm.
Man basically has a sock in his genital area to make it look like he has a big penis, and it was just like a thing that people would see. But the thing that people didn't realize is Sock Man would beg every day, but Sock Man at the end of every shift would hop into his Mercedes Benz because he did begging as a performance art. Like he would donate some of the money and do some other things like
Yeah,
if you talk to some people who really used to know Sock Man, like this guy lives in like a nice little flat. He's got plenty of money, but he just decided to be a beggar just to beg and give back. But his claim to fame was he wanted something that would make it to where people would know who he is. So he said, "I'm gonna just stuff a sock in my genital area and have people call me Sock Man."
Okay,
well,
pause.
my
Like, what?
my
Go ahead.
last my last like two little incidents where one of them I didn't give and the other one I did, and the reason why I didn't get the second time is because of the circumstances. But uh, I was me and my old lady was buying our Christmas tree at a Big Lot, and outside of it was a dude in a wheelchair, a veteran. That hits me always. It's gonna hit me. It's a homeless vet, old white dude, Navy dude. He can't walk. And then there was this white chick with him, real skinny looking white chick. They both like at least 40 to 50. And we go inside, get our shit, and then like while she was doing something, I was at the cash register while the lady was doing our return because the first tree we bought, they're pre-lit, it wasn't working. And the lady came in to get a Coke or a Pepsi or whatever, and I knew she was with a dude, and I was like, does he drink Pepsi too? And she was like, yeah. I was like, you can go ahead and get that. No, that's on me. And she did it, didn't make eye contact, didn't want to like, she really like had that like old school slave vibe to it. She didn't make eye contact, didn't say nothing, anything like that. And I wasn't even on that. It was just like, you can go ahead, you good, I got it. I really wanted the black lady that was at the register to fucking scan it so she can go, but she was kind of like, it seemed like she was being a bitch. Like, yo, just scan it so she can go and we can do this transaction ourselves. Old buddy didn't say nothing when I went out, but I didn't care. I really don't care. Like, that ain't why I did it. I don't do it for the like, oh, thank you. It's just like, I have it. You want it. It ain't nothing to me, like for what I have going on in my life, The second one was actually when I left after linking up with you, Riker. I was stopping to get something at Krispy Kreme. And at the off ramp, there was this young white dude. I mean, he had to be younger than 30. And you remember how cold we was talking about it was yesterday. And he was just sitting there in a t-shirt with his sign. T-shirt, that's it. And he ain't shivering or nothing, but he out there. I'm from Chicago, I ain't naive. I'm like, dude could be basing, he can be doing this, he could be doing that. But the fact that I felt bad that nigga was out there in the fucking cold, just sitting. I didn't want to give him money, but I was mad because I like religiously give like clothes to Goodwill or the clothes bins because I don't give shit to the Salvation Army because it's not a nonprofit, it's a for-profit organization. I don't fuck with it.
Goodwill is too, but that's neither here nor there.
It is, but it's not to the point where the CEO is, as far as I know. But I've seen.
Let me shatter that illusion for you.
God damn it, they corrupted too.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a multi-billion dollar fucking CEO.
Name a company that gets all their products for free and tell me he can.
Well, I usually this is the
sell
thing is whichever one is close to me because usually I go to those like clothes bins that like are actually assessed by shelters and like churches and give everything to them. That's usually what I give it to. But where I was at, it wasn't one near, so I knew there was a Salvation Army who usually just gets like my non-clothes items because the clothes items I like to get to those things. But I give like damn near $1,000 worth of clothes a year. And it's just shit that I know is in my closet and I ain't gonna wear. But I had some clothes that I was gonna drop off at home, and I usually put it in my car, so I remember to just take it. And I didn't have it when I remember there was a hoodie in there that I wanted to give old buddy. I was like, yo, this nigga's cold, like regardless. And I would have probably gauged it just like how you said when you gave old girl that money. Would have been like, if this person is truly struggling, this hoodie is gonna make his motherfucking day. Because he's warm, he got something, it ain't even about it being stylish and nothing. It's just the fact that I got something to help me in my fucking struggle. And that's kind of why I do it. Like I don't look for no type of
okay. I'll walk back my state. The guy only makes $712,000 a year.
I'll take that because the Wounded Warrior fucking CEO was making like damn near $1 billion. Or worth damn near $1 billion.
Well, yeah, but Wounded Warrior, it hits people right in the guts on both sides because
I don't for me. I ain't gonna lie. As a veteran, I literally tell them, when you want to give to the vets, I say, fuck no, I'm a vet. I ain't getting none of that money. Like,
that's how I feel about children's hospitals.
Well, yeah, I feel more strongly about the wounded vet or the vet thing because we spend all this money training up people to become vets, and we don't spend not a goddamn dollar on them when they actually are veterans and they have all these
that's
issues.
Them. We don't do that shit. They do
but
that shit.
That's our money they're spending. That's the thing about it.
Don't blame me for that.
Put like this, Reed. No, I read. But like this, they taking your money already for the VAs anyway, and that money is getting spent on some shit. So, and granted, this is literally removing what the persons are doing to cause themselves this pain. Let's say these people aren't.
No. I'm not blaming them at all. What I'm saying is,
I'm about to say, yeah.
I hold no culpability for it because you know how much we spend on our military, and if they're not allocating the funds to them, y'all need to be mad at them.
Well,
they sit up there.
There's plenty of money in the VA. It's the fact that the VA process is extremely fucking difficult, and I'm talking to somebody that has successfully navigated it.
I know somebody who waited 6 years for some shit, so I was just like, "What?"
I know somebody.
People talk all this shit about communism, but these communist places be having people serve before your actual VAs be serving people.
I know somebody whose dad was a Marine that went through Vietnam, and he has all kinds of screws and shit in his body. And the dude is damn near pretty much hanging on life. His son did all the shit for him recently in the last couple of years, and got his paperwork refilled because his dad never did it. Like, one thing Marines are kind of proud about that, the old ones especially, they don't do it. This nigga did this shit for him, got all his papers processed, got all the physicals done, blah, 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 all that shit. Woke up on a Monday and his motherfucking dad's account had over 200K in there. If
Which
you
he
do the fucking
deserved.
obstacles, if you jump the obstacles, you will get your shit. But the problem is the obstacles that they put in place are fucking ridiculous. But also the employees that they put in those fucking places are overworked more than fucking anybody you can think, because it's like,
Did
think
you
of
see who
regular
they put in
hospitals.
the
Yeah, I see.
VA?
I see, but
He not even
it's the
qualified whatsoever. Joe Biden's candidate is
we
his homeboy.
it, it's a but that's a I mean, that's how federal employment is, period. Like, look at the fucking DMVs, look at the post office. Those are federal employees, dude, and look how they man those motherfuckers. So,
Correct.
Well,
like,
the VA people are talking about it. I ain't got nothing to do with it.
well,
They
I
were
know.
talking
I'm just
about it.
talking about, like, period. Like, the way the money they put into employment that work with people that are the public, that are not military, like, exclusive, that the
You can at
public have
least put
access to.
somebody ex-military, bro. Like his son would have been a better idea. Oh,
Oh,
he
you talking
dead.
about Biden? Yeah,
Yeah,
damn.
Joe Biden.
Yeah,
Damn.
actually,
He's
yeah,
gone.
yeah. His
Yeah,
son would have been a better
Was his
idea, which
son
is hilarious.
ex-military? Both of
the
them.
one
No,
that's dead.
Bo,
No,
Bo
Bo
was
was,
not the other. But
not the
even
other one.
then, I feel like the crackhead would be able to relate more to VAs and getting people things than the guy he's currently putting in there. Like, you would be a better person, DJ
the
All Might,
dude.
to run the
the
VA
thing.
than this motherfucker.
But they put fucking Ben Carson in front of Hoa. So what do you expect, man? Like, I just.
Yeah, but we can't talk about Trump's thing because Republicans are
Yeah,
known for cronyism. It's just the Democrats, we try
because
to hold
Ben
them to a
Carson
higher
should have been
standard.
Surgeon General, right?
He
Exactly.
should
He
have.
should have been. He should have been Surgeon General.
When the
But
other
then
guy's still
again,
black.
I mean, no, the other guy's still black, and he actually did a pretty good job for everything that he had. Because when they were talking about Corona, he was like, "I can't say that y'all should wear masks, but what I can say is, if a mask fell into your lap, you should put it on."
Also, you ain't gonna find too many politicians who, well, the older ones, like 3 generations ago, and maybe two,
Bernie
were probably
Sanders.
military. They probably military, but if you remember the Fahrenheit 9/11 documentary when it was on Capitol Hill, asking the politicians that were coming down if they would let their kids join, they looked at them like they was fucking crazy.
Yeah, they did. And people don't give Michael Moore enough credit for both Fahrenheit 9/11 and Fahrenheit 11/9.
Or bowling for Columbine.
Oh yeah, bowling for Columbine was hilarious because it's like, yeah, man, guns around here, they're just something we do. It's like, do you guys ever kill each other with guns? I mean, we're not gonna talk about the suicide rates, but
No,
more than likely, if
maybe.
somebody's year isn't going well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah, but that's one thing that I don't expect a politician to really understand the military. Even the ones that did do time, because Lindsey Graham was an Air Force officer, and that told me everything I needed to know about him.
So, this is a side note. When we started this podcast, the Falcons were up 24-3 or something like that on
Oh
the
What they down now?
Buccaneers.
no, nigga,
What they
no,
down?
nigga, no.
On the Buccaneers, now they're down. I don't know, what was it?
21.
Nah, hell no. It was like 30, 31-27. They were up 24-3 when the podcast started.
Man, y'all got. It's
So,
like y'all took the Chicago Bears and
y'all,
moved to Atlanta.
the Chicago
We
Bears is
did.
beating the Vikings, by the way.
No, I'm just
They're
saying,
still
the
a
way that
playoff
we
hunt.
used to look at the Bears up until the last year or two, that's what the Falcons have become.
Man, the Falcons' defense is trash. Offense is trash. Matt Ryan's gone. Julio's gone within the next 2 years, and we'll see what's in our future.
I feel bad for Julio. I hope they don't Megatron his ass.
I
Nah,
mean,
Megatron,
Julio just
himself.
needs to keep stacking up this money and get ready to see if he can get one of them deals that'll let him out of his contract so he can go somewhere
Nah,
else.
the
This
football
ain't the
players don't
NBA.
ring chase like that.
It ain't the
Yeah,
NBA either though. Marshall,
yeah.
what's his name? John, what's his name? Brandon Marshall just talked about that. It's crazy that nigga don't have a ring.
I mean, Brandon Marshall was slick, crazy.
He was, but
Yeah,
I mean, his talent was,
yeah.
up there. He just
Undeniable.
got put on some shitty squads
You heard that stupid argument going on with Randy Moss and Jerry Rice?
about who's
No.
the best wide receiver in the world or
Yeah, he
ever.
said Randy Moss said he was the best wide receiver ever. I'm like, bro, this is the problem with your whole argument. As talented as you were, you never won shit.
Yeah, correct.
Not, I'm not saying you have to win, but like when it came down to it, Randy Moss wasn't that guy. Like it's
Well,
just
this is
like,
why Jerry Rice and Randy Moss argument is kind of irrelevant. Well, Jerry Rice didn't have the God-given fucking athletic ability that Randy Moss
And
had.
height. Yeah.
Yeah, like Randy Moss, they even said it. Like he didn't have the fastest 40 and all that. He didn't have like get off the line
Jerry
and
Rice.
everything. That's like, but he ran a route like nobody else.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like and I'm Randy Moss is my favorite wide receiver of all time. Like it's just the fact that
Terrell Owens.
T.O. was number 2 because I ain't gonna lie, he earned my respect when he I remember that Super Bowl when he came from that broken leg or torn Achilles. What was it?
It was a broken leg, and he was out there still playing.
Yeah, it
Allegedly.
was. Yeah, he was. I remember it. I was mad. That's what turned me against Donovan
People were
McNabb.
surprised.
I was a Donovan McNabb fan until that
I'm
Super Bowl.
surprised. Goddamn.
Donovan a bitch ass nigga.
Like that right there made me feel like he was a bitch. I was like, this man T.O. literally came back from a broken leg a whole year early.
It was like 3 weeks from a broken leg, bro. Something like that. It was something ridiculous.
It was 6 weeks.
6 weeks. It was something ridiculous.
And this
That's
nigga
why
put
when
up
everybody
over 100
talk
yards.
about the GOAT conversation when even come to basketball, I'm just like, as good as LeBron is, bro, he did do some things that you can look back and be honestly say, bro, you cheated. I don't think Anthony Davis is the second best player in the NBA. That top 100
Who
list. I'm
said
just
that?
like, no.
Who said
The
that?
top 100 ESPN list. They had
It
Anthony
came out.
Davis as number 2.
ESPN is irrelevant, man. Their rankings
Yeah.
don't mean shit. Their rankings don't mean shit. Like
I
that's
think he's
like
a top 10 player, but like
he's a top 10, but
they say he
who they
top 5. I'm just like, no, bro. He can't
no.
win by himself. Like them other guys ahead of him win. Like
If
they
I'm
can
gonna
at
be
least make it to the playoffs. I don't care where you at, East or West. Like you don't do it, bro.
I'll say this. This is why LeBron is gonna always win number 1 in my book when it comes to a lot of shit.
Besides
It's
Jordan, right?
I'm talking about current. I'm talking about active. I'm
Oh,
not talking
active.
about all time.
Well, it's Kevin Durant. They him.
Swap out. I can't put Kevin because I can't see Kevin taking the teams that LeBron took to the finals. Even all the way back to when he lost against the Spurs when he was on the Cavaliers. I don't see Kevin Durant doing that.
Doesn't that depend on where you at?
Does
Because
it?
he remember that same argument was when he went to the West and he went over there with them kids. He didn't take them nowhere.
But he got hurt. He wasn't playing the back half of the season.
But they were still able to make the playoffs if they were to win.
Yeah, but they were talking about taking them all the way to the finals. I said finals or playoffs.
I said playoffs at
Whatever.
least.
I'm talking about the finals. With Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant, like they even had the argument about him recently this week when it came to how he's willing to be submissive, and that is his downfall with a lot of shit. He will be a spot up shooter. He doesn't necessarily need the ball. He doesn't demand the ball. When he gets it, he'll do his thing with it, and that's the thing. Kevin Durant is overall way more gifted than LeBron when it comes to offensive. But
I hate when we use the word gifted like that.
he is.
Well,
though.
it's a gift though. He didn't earn it.
It's a talent.
He's talented
No,
and gifted
talented.
because he's gifted enough to be to know what he's doing, but he's talented enough to where he put the work. He puts in the work. I'm not gonna say it was just gifted to him
because LeBron got gifts from God. Like that shot that Kevin Durant has, he worked on that.
He
I
did.
don't think a guy. You don't think guys gives you a shot
But
like that.
you also know who is like LeBron. LeBron was already a freak athlete in high school. Kevin Durant knew he wasn't going to be a freak athlete. You know, everybody grows into their body. You're subject to your body and your skill set.
Yeah, that's a big ass nigga.
Like,
LeBron's a big ass.
He's
I
big.
hate to say that shit like that. LeBron's a big. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that nigga in person. He's like the size of most wrestlers.
But they say that. They said that's what most players get intimidated by, especially the new niggas come to the game. It's like you don't know how big he is until you get you stand next to that nigga.
Yeah.
And I can say that. That's how I ain't gonna lie. That's how Kawhi is. Kawhi is a big dude. When I stood next to him and seen that motherfucker, I was like, bro.
I ain't never seen him in person. He's big.
I seen him and Paul George in person, and like shit, even Patrick Beverly. Like that's how like I'm 5'10",
Patrick Beverly
bro.
like my height, ain't he?
I'm 5. He's 6. He's like at least 6'1" at the tallest. But it's like it's kind of like they are bigger than the average nigga.
Yeah,
like they all are. But I ain't gonna lie, Kawhi and Paul, nigga, I'm like using the length of the angle that my neck can go up to be facing. Look this nigga eye to eye.
I saw Lamar Odom at Lennox. Lennox the other week, and I'm just like, damn, that nigga was big. That's a tall ass skinny nigga.
That is a tall
and he had a mask
ass
on and everything. And then I saw
looked,
the top of his eyes, just like, are you are you Lamar Odom? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay.
I ran into Tayshaun Prince at in Vegas when I went there last, and he looks like a fucking Pokemon.
Yeah, he was a tall, light skinned, tough nigga in Detroit, but
With
he
freckles.
never outside of Detroit, he never blossomed.
No, because Detroit had a system. Detroit proved that a system can beat superstars.
No,
As long as everybody plays their role.
The Spurs, true.
Spurs.
Yeah.
But the Spurs had true talent too. Like, I mean, it's just the fact that I don't think any of those dudes would have did as well outside that system. Like, I don't think Steph Curry's gonna do
Timmy.
well this.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell
but
no. Steph Curry gonna show you who he is. You keep trying to play my nigga Steph, bro. Steph
no,
is
I
a
ain't.
top 5
Take him
player
out of
of
the
all
system. Take
time.
him out of the system. Nah, you crazy. That's a light skinned defense. I am disgusted with you.
Steph Curry is a top 5 player of all time.
Steph
It's what he
Curry
does,
is the
bro.
Steph
luckiest nigga in
Curry,
the NBA whatsoever.
LeBron would be the
you're
luckiest.
going way too hard on him. I
Nah,
get the fact that he's light skinned. I get the fact that he's had many privileges, but that nigga shots
I ain't
are
talking
the
about the
truth.
shot. I ain't talking about the shot because the thing is, this preseason is one thing. I don't give a fuck about the preseason though, because that's just like playing 2K in fucking high school. You outshining everybody, but when it's time for you to play in the fucking NBA season, when you got the top tier of what's current right now, because granted, what top tier now ain't the
But we
greatest.
not talking. That was his golden run though. His golden
But
run was a
all
lead
right,
up where he had 3 championships in 4 years.
we gonna see where he is, where he doesn't have another person that is a distraction from the fucking three.
I
Let's
mean,
see.
look, a lot of people have had distractions outside of Michael Jordan. Let's be honest.
Bro, he
I get
crosses
that.
the court, he's in range. That's
The
all I
only
gotta
Okay,
say.
exception,
but
the only
the
exception is
thing
Shaq,
is,
because Shaq
they
was so goddamn big. You
dominant. Yeah,
can't stop that nigga. He's literally a tank on an
Steph.
NBA court.
But here's you still talking about Steph with Clay, and we only got to see a few games with him without Clay last time. Yes, he
I
is
mean,
when there's a
you're right,
threat.
you're right. That he did always
Yeah,
have Clay, and Clay
Clay,
isn't
you
no
can't
small
leave Clay.
ass
You
nigga.
can't. They were on a team where you couldn't double anybody. That was just dangerous. You can't double anybody, and you got to play 1-on-1. He does have handles. I ain't gonna lie. He does have handles third to Kemba Walker. I think Kemba has better handles than Steph. I'm gonna say it.
I would
I
say
think
second to
Kyrie's number
Kyrie.
one. I think
Yeah, of
Kyrie's one.
course.
I
Yeah,
think Kemba's
Kyrie's
two.
number one.
Yeah,
Kyrie's number one. I
Kyrie
ain't
got
even
the
fucking
handles.
with that.
I
Kyrie's number
think
one.
I think Kimba's number two just because what Kimba's been working with and the
Kimball's
way he's
just
been hitting niggas.
I think it's easier for short niggas to have handles.
Kimball,
I'm sorry.
Kimball is the
True.
definition of
Kimba.
what you were talking about earlier, which
Kim,
is talent.
Kimba's short.
Talent,
Kimba's
yeah.
short.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kimba
yeah,
but
could
but
if
they're
Kimba
all
had
the same
4
his
height. They're all
handling,
6.
if
his
Kimba had
handling
6
is
inches
true
on
is
him, he'll be
legendary.
one of the best players
No,
in the NBA.
I think that Steph is the tallest of the three of them. Steph is like 6'4". The rest of them niggas are 6'1", 6'2".
I think Kyrie 6'3". I think Kyrie 6'3".
Steph is listed at 6'4". Kyrie
I
is
think he's
listed at
6'4". I think
like
Kyrie at least 6'3".
because even Westbrook is listed at 6'4".
Nah, Kyrie
And
6'2".
Okay.
Kyrie, yeah, they're all 6'1". Like or
Nah,
6'2", yeah.
Kimba's shorter, way shorter. I think Kimba really like 5'10" while we
Yeah.
playing.
Look, the reason I know that is I seen them stand next to AI, and AI is literally just 6 feet tall.
I don't even think that nigga 6 feet tall.
Anyway, thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and end this podcast. We appreciate your support. Check us out at EVYD Black Men on Twitter, Everyday Black Men on Instagram, and the Everyday Black Men Facebook page.
Hey.
Hey.